Yeehaw! It's time for the Texans Squad, sponsored by Gametime. Everything Houston Texans, every week. Bringing you the big hits, game-changing plays, and all the action straight from the Lone Star State. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Saddle up and squad up. It's the Texans Squad Show, starting now.
Welcome into the Squad Show on a Wednesday night. We're with you live on YouTube, of course, wherever you get your podcast as well. We appreciate you joining us here tonight. I'm Michael Connor. That's Stan Norfleet in the middle, John Hickman on the other end. All three of us back together, getting ready for another Texans preseason game this week, guys. We've got a lot to get into from this one. It's good to be with you guys.
I miss you guys.
We missed you, John. You know, you had to go over there and have bad weather and lose the internet.
Oh my gosh, I'm sick of it.
It absolutely happens. But we'll get all four of us this weekend with Wade Smith in the mix this weekend after the Texans and Panthers. So let's start things off. Of course, Stan, you and I did a lot of talking immediately, and John, you've done shows since then, which everybody can check out John with the Locked On Daily Texans show right here on this very channel and wherever you get your podcast as well. This show, by the way, real quick, I do need to remind you, is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season right here. It's right around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. All right. So, remnants from Minnesota. How are we feeling coming out of that one after having a few days to dissect what went down out there? You know, we talked a lot about his backups playing and whatnot, but John, since we didn't hear from you the other night, we'll start with you. What's lingering for you from that Minnesota game today?
You guys have to know that there's two things I've been waiting to talk to you guys with, specifically my man Stan Norfleet. The young fella.
Which one?
Tay.
Oh, you mean the kid that's playing left tackle?
The left tackle, Tay.
Yeah. So we done with this right tackle coverage.
He looked. Let me get mine off real quick because, and I knew you was gonna do this, but seriously, man, they put the advanced stat out. The running backs, it was Dare, and I would have liked to see another back out there to kind of see how one of those younger backs would have performed with the projected somewhat of a starter unit. You know, I had a few of those guys out there that will be starting, but I get it. They're looking out for Dare. Dare won't get those carries in the regular season, so I completely understand. He's a vet that they love, but I think it was nearly 7 yards per carry running to his side. But it wasn't how they ran to his side. Like, he was completely washing guys down the line of scrimmage, just a complete body mover. And one thing that I loved about him the moment I saw him, because he got drafted in April, I didn't see Tay until July. Didn't realize how big that man was, right? And so he has the baby face, but the strength comes with it. I was extremely impressed by Tay Ursery out there, who I think, you know, going up against guys like Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter does wonders for his confidence and how he plays. Now, on the other side, you was ready to say something, Stan, but why are they going with the guy that only has one start in 2 years over a guy that's been here in Houston?
18 games started. Crazy.
How was Jake Andrews?
Jake Andrews graded out better than Ursery. Ironically, Ed Ingram graded out the best of all the offensive linemen that went out there. Andrews came in second, according to Pro Football Focus. I had that here. Where did I see? Jake Andrews had a 73. Ed Ingram had an 84. So, look, it's clear. The center competition is over. They've decided that Jake Andrews, given his time with Nick Caley in New England, understanding the language, I understand everybody talks about the wrestling background. So, look, it's not what I would do. I think the quarterback's comfortability and the chemistry between the pivot position and the quarterback makes all the difference. I have not seen Jake Andrews when the lights are brightest in the postseason, and I've seen Jared Patterson. Jared Patterson is also a Texans draft selection, obviously 2 years ago, same year as CJ in the 6th round out of Notre Dame. But okay, Kaylee, he's got his guy. We rolling with it. He graded out, like I said, he graded out well at a 73 out of 100.
And I think what I like a lot about Jake Andrews, I mentioned this a few times, they went with him because of the what he's going to give them in terms of being able to run the ball. The run support, I think, is extremely important from a center perspective, but also just watching him when he was out there, and it wasn't for a lot of snaps, the comfortability that he's providing for the guard next to him. The ability to be able to know the assignment, know the role, get the ball to CJ, and also be a perfect center to be able to pass off blocks to so they can take over, so that guard can get up to the next level of the field. I was impressed with Andrews, and granted, once again, they were going up against guys that could be rotational players, right?
Thank you.
And I think when we look at Ariante, he has some great matchups with Dallas Turner. Where does Dallas Turner fit for Minnesota? I'm sure he's going to be a 60-plus snap player. So that's a great observation to go based off of. But what we saw out of Jake Andrews, I was impressed. He was everything that I thought he'd be for Houston, being able to be a great run support center. And I think that that's something that they can clip up, build off on moving forward.
So do we think at this point, one game into the preseason, we have a general idea of what the offensive line is actually going to look like now that we've seen them play a game?
No, I don't think we do.
I think
that leads into what
may still be up.
I think that's where I was getting ready to go. Upon looking at the tape, I was prepared to do second take Tuesday. Forgive us for not being up and running yesterday. We got things going on, but here we are today. Going back, looking at all 10 snaps from Ariante Ursery, we've all seen the Brian Baldinger breakdown, the former NFL offensive lineman that he is. Ariante Ursery versus Minnesota, how cool is it for him to go back where he played his college ball at? A lot of people that support him. 0 pressures on 5 pass blocking reps, the only series that he played. How about, according to Pro Football Focus, 3 rushing attempts directly behind Ariante Ursery, averaging 6.7 yards per carry, 20 yards. 4 yards per 4 yards per carry before contact. So he was paving the way, and then even Dare 6.5 yards on 4 attempts behind Ariante. So it's clear, and if you remember, somebody on this program said it was madness when they had an All-American left tackle over here on the right side. It's clear he thrives and feels more comfortable on the left side. Now, he said in the media.
Is it fair to say that yet? Because we never saw him play on the right side. I know that he played there, but can we crush it because he didn't play over there? He's just playing left tackle, right? He's doing well.
I'm going to repeat, the kid was an All-American on the left side where he started for 3 years. Ariante Ursery should be playing left tackle, and here's where things get a bit interesting for me. I asked the two of you, Cam Robinson's been out. He's got a lower leg deal. He was in practice today. They did basically a glorified walkthrough today. He was in uniform, but he didn't go out with the ones. So Ariante Ursery continues to go out with the ones at the left tackle spot. We got a dynamic here.
Yeah, we do.
What do you do at left tackle? You're giving $12 up to $14 million with incentive for Cam Robinson to come here and play left tackle, but Ariante Ursery has appeared to be manning the position favorably, and that allows them. Titus Howard plays the right tackle spot with Cam being out. We'll talk some more about that.
There's only one
What
option.
do they do here? Huh?
There's only one option. You do what's best for you to win the football game.
You do what's best, and you know what? That has been the
money does not matter. I know. Yes, $12 million on the bench would be terrible, but who cares?
And let me also say this: up to 14, $12 million on the bench. That's expensive. That's a very expensive insurance policy. But we all just saw Zach Thomas.
He didn't look good.
So
Jalen Thomas didn't look good.
So what I'm getting at is Austin Deculus, who's still on this roster, he ain't gonna pan out, and that's no disrespect to the young man. So what I'm getting at is the message from the coaching staff, D'Amico and everybody else. They're going to put the best out there.
Okay, well let's get to it.
Then have Cam Robinson on the bench just in case.
So give me the best 5 that we've seen through what is about to be 2 preseason games. We'll talk about the joint practice towards the end of this broadcast. Tell me what is the best 5 that you've seen, because I heard what the players said. I've heard what D'Amico Ryans himself said. When Titus is at right tackle and Ariante Ursery is at left, there has been less leakage going up against Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter. So I'm asking y'all, give me the 5 left to right. What would you do?
Man, that's unfair, MC. I'm going to give it to you, but I want to see more from them this Saturday. I think we'll see the starters out there. But if I'm being for real,
if Cam Robinson was healthy.
From left to right, if Cam Robinson was healthy, from left to right, it has been the young fella,
Lakin,
Tomlinson,
Andrews locked up the center spot.
Right guard is where it gets tricky. I still think Juice Scruggs has some fight left, a dog in this fight. And Titus Howard. I'm not big on Ed Ingram, and I don't think none of those guards have really blown me away to just give them for sure without a doubt, the start or not, honestly. But it has been when those two tackles has been Ariante and Titus Howard.
You're not gonna like it, but I'm just telling you what I think is the best lineup. I think Cam Robinson right now is a better left tackle than Ariante Ursery. If Cam is healthy, I'm gonna go Cam, Lakin. They're gonna go Andrews. I would go Patterson. I would go Ed Ingram at right guard, and I would go with Titus at right tackle. I would try that first.
You would sit your best offensive lineman who's going to make.
Whoa! Ariante Ursery is not better than Titus.
Did you see those breakdowns? I watched those.
Ariante Ursery is not better than Titus Howard.
Yes,
he's not.
He's younger. He's more athletic. He's better.
He's not better than Titus. Are y'all crazy?
I
know we ain't been together in a while, been a few days, but y'all are bugging with that. So I'm going to excuse that. Sometime y'all have a moment, and then Michael Connor with his duplicitous self, he like to stir up the pot. So listen,
you got to get Ariante on the field though, man. You got to. You have to.
Why can't he be my swing tackle?
Why would you?
Why would you have an All-American left tackle be a swing tackle?
You love him so much. Why would you want to be a swing tackle?
I'm asking a question. Is Ariante Ursery better than Cam?
Yes.
If he is, then why did they guarantee Cam $12 million?
Oh, that was in free agency.
That was before they drafted him. Yeah.
Tay is better than Titus at left tackle, says Miles and that Cognac. That wasn't the question. Overall, Titus is the best offensive lineman over there, and we know that. So to say anything other than that, I just don't understand. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to put Cam back at left, Lakin,
right.
Jake Andrews. They're going to end up putting Titus back inside at right guard, and they're going to put Tay back over there at right tackle.
So, and here's the thing, man. We'll get a better look, especially if those guys are healthy and they're out there on the field. Maybe we get a couple drops. We'll get a better look Saturday. But in terms of best, I hope so. The best offensive line that gives you the balance that you need across that line, it is having Tay at right tackle and Titus Howard on the inside. That gives you the balance. But to be fair, based off of practice and based off of what we've seen in the game, if there's no way I'm jeopardizing my offensive line by not having Ariante Ursery out there on the field.
Again, I'm just saying what their options are. I don't think there is a world for me where Tay might not start week 1. There's a world where Cam is the best left, and there's a world where Titus is the best right. And then I figure out the interior.
You know what that screams? That screams the team that drafts the quarterback, like the Texans did one time, and they sit him in game 1. And then at halftime they go, "Oh, we should have played the young guy who was better than these other guys." That's what that screams.
Well, I don't understand. Well, we don't have the time, but I wish we could do a deeper dive into this thing. I do want to point this out also. Titus Howard did not practice yesterday. He apparently had a hand injury. He was out there for the walkthrough today. So this offensive line continues to be nicked up. I know we had some other injuries that have obviously happened since the Minnesota game. But from a Minnesota standpoint, in terms of what was left, other than Ariante Ursery and how the rest of that offensive line graded out, I thought the linebackers outside of Nick Neiman and Jake Hansen, I can't remember which one of them it is specifically, but listen, BJ Hill and most certainly EJ Speed. EJ Speed, D'Amico said it this week. Since they back from Minnesota, EJ Speed has been rotating with Henry T at that will linebacker spot. EJ Speed's going to end up starting some games for this team for sure.
Yeah, he's going to play a lot. Let's talk about what's been going on this week since we haven't gotten to everything that's going on this week. And, of course, we'll get, like Stan said, to the joint practices coming up this weekend. And then, of course, the game this weekend as well. We'll do all that here in a brief moment on the Locked On Texans Squad Show. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing the long shot division winner, or you're ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even gets here, this is your moment. I like to be the homer on this show, so I'm going to go ahead and say, put down some money on CJ Stroud winning the MVP. Let's go ahead and do it. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bet now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Squad Show rolls on here on the Locked On Texans Squad Show. I'm sure you guys love that I picked CJ Stroud there a minute ago to be the MVP. We can talk about him. I'll play the homer role. That's okay. I'm fine with it. I love the Texans. I want them to win.
I want them to win too. I'm just not going to lie to do it.
You know what I don't? You know what I don't want?
CJ could win MVP though, for real. He could.
He could. Yeah, of course he could. He plays quarterback. They only give it to quarterbacks. He plays the position you got to play. So,
which, by the way, we need to change that.
Yes.
We need to, because most valuable player, Saquon should have been MVP last year. I think the year
J.J. Watt back in the day should have been MVP.
J.J. Watt, 2014, 2015. That's the year Aaron Rodgers won, and Christian McCaffrey a couple of seasons ago. Most valued player. If that player is off that team, then the trajectory of that team changes.
And the quarterback position is going to impact that more than everybody else.
Not more than J.J. Watt did in
2015. If J.J. Watt not in the lineup was not more impactful than Deshaun Watson or Matt Schaub not being in the lineup. That's just impossible.
He did all that with it. He willed them to a 9-win season with Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback.
And he
was playing offense.
It's no hate on JJ.
5 touchdowns too.
It's not hating on JJ. The quarterback touches the ball every play. It's not hating on JJ. He just doesn't. You can't impact. No defender can impact the game like that.
He did.
Did Lawrence Taylor win the MVP?
He should have.
I'm not sure. That's what I'm asking. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking. Anyway, we heard from JJ this week as well. I think it was today. JJ had something to say. I was reading something in the Houston Chronicle. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Go ahead, MC.
All right. So what's going on in practice? What I don't want to practice anymore is any more injuries. We'll start there real quick. Brevin Jordan news. Good God. I think we were all on the same page that this guy was going to be an impact player for them in some sort of fashion this year. I think we all believed in him because of his athletic ability. And here you go, another knee injury. He's done for the year.
Same knee, same ACL that cost him last year.
Yeah. I mean, you got to wonder about your career at this point if you're Brevin Jordan.
Absolutely.
That's a real thing. What's the impact on this football team from not having that? Because he's a different dynamic of the tight ends that they have.
Well, for me, the blessing is they got a coach that has a tight end background. And this past week, the past couple of days, there were reports that Luke Lachey was getting some burn with the ones and the twos.
That's
true. Pretty much they understand and know what they got in Dalton Schultz, who was taking on their veteran leadership role. Still got Cade Stover, who was already projected to be this team's tight end too. So now it's all about filling the void at tight end 3. Irv Smith is here. They just signed Trey Kitty. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, so forgive me.
Trey McKitty. And they had to sign him because Dalton Keene was placed on injured reserve.
Yeah.
And they just brought Dalton Keene back.
The good thing is they have a coach that understands and knows how to utilize that group. So without Brevin Jordan, the dynamic that you're going to miss is the raw athletic ability that he brings, the speed that he brings. He can outrun some of those 4-4 linebackers. He has that speed. But I don't think that it's going to impact that unit in terms of them getting their opportunities, because Nick Haley understands, I got to use you guys. I got to get you guys involved. And we kind of saw how they can get those tight ends involved. I thought that the Cade Stover plays, there was a couple of them, one for a catch, one he didn't finish on his route. We'll see how they'll be utilized and involved. But losing Brevin, you do lose that speed and arguably the best block in that room.
So we get Irv Smith is back. He was back at practice. That was either yesterday or today, Irv Smith Jr. So you get him. Cade Stover has been one of the stars of training camp thus far. We know, again, as you just mentioned, John, he broke the route off a little short. Him and Davis Mills not on the same page up in Minnesota on Saturday afternoon.
Well, it was wide open. So
it was there. He just got to finish it, right? So that's just player and quarterback getting on the same thing, receiving quarterback getting on the same page. But I'm not as stressed about the tight end room, though losing Brev will be missed. That's going to be something. It's just in this league that's filled with aliens, You need as many guys on the field that have freakish athletic ability and have those explosive plays in their arsenal, and Brevin Jordan can clearly do that. Yeah. We saw him do that in the playoff game versus Cleveland. When he's healthy and he's right, he's as explosive as anybody at the position within reason. One of the things that I'm going to be looking for with Nick Caley is, okay, you got different types of tight ends, right? When the defense is set in the front, as a former linebacker, I can tell you, we say, okay, why? The tight end steps off. We're letting him know. You'll hear him say, yo. They put their hands up like a Y. That's telling the rest of the defense the designated tight end is moving, so the strength of the formation is changing, which we may have to reverse our call, right? Okay, well, then they come out in 12 personnel or 13 personnel. You have to designate who's the second tight end, or we call the U. You'll see guys put up the U. They'll say you. They're letting everybody know the second tight end is moving, and you have different offense or different defenses that you can call based on what personnel is moving. What does all that mean, Stan? It means don't get caught up in the jersey number or somebody's height, size, and speed. It's all based on that week's matchup. One of the beautiful things about taking Higgins in the second round, one of the beautiful things about having 6'2.5", 6'3.5", when you think about Xavier Hutchinson on the roster, you can line up big receivers in some of those spots when you're not asking them to do traditional blocking things. So you can get a guy like Jakob Johnson. You could line up Jakob Johnson from a blocking standpoint in some of those formations. So let's not get caught up let's not overestimate what you can do based on one player's position and profile. I think Nick Caley and D'Amico, Bill Lazor, Gerard Johnson, the rest of that offensive staff, they should be able to overcome that.
Yeah, I would agree that they should be able to overcome it. It really stinks because, John, you mentioned it's just the athletic ability. I was excited more than anything just to see a guy that we talked about. He's a freak of an athlete. So they don't need any more of those issues out there. Is there anything else from the week that has gone so far, practice-wise, that you guys have seen and heard that you wanted to get to before we start looking at the week ahead?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I thought the two young running backs did an extremely good job blocking out of the backfield and pass protection. But I also want to kind of combine that with running backs. You don't get your paper about pass blocking. You got to run their ball. You got to tote their rock. And you got to do it pretty well. And I was very underwhelmed by the performance. Now, granted, both Jawar and Woody Marks were out there with guys that, again, Zach Thomas was out there for some of those carries, right? Jalen Thomas was out there for some of those carries. Like guys that are fighting to be the 8th, 9th spot or may not even be on this roster at all. So I do want to see some of those young guys get carries with some of the more trusted offensive linemen to see how they do. But I was impressed with those two young running backs. And with that being said, Nick Chubb is no longer on concussion protocol. He's out the red jersey. Damian Pierce is back, right? And so with Joe Mixon still being slated to start, be ready for week 1, the wide receiver room is full of depth. This running back room is full of depth. Now it's all about who's going to kind of round out that pecking order, which is what I'm excited to see this week. It started tomorrow with the joint practice.
So we got to be careful. The only thing I would say to that was two things. Let's be careful. They said they were going to reevaluate Mixon as we get close to week 1. So I can't assume that Mixon's going to be ready to go. That's just what's in the back of my personal football mind. Second thing is it's tough with those running backs, not just because the offensive line and the quarterback that they were out there with on Saturday, all due respect, Davis Mills has been one of the stars of training camp from a backup perspective, but also the defense that they're going up against. We'll learn more during the joint practice about where these young running backs actually are. John, you'll be on the scene there tomorrow, so I'll be following the reports on social and trying to stay in touch with you about what we're seeing. I want to say also the off of the pup list is Foley Fatakasi, as well as we get Derek Barnett. So getting those two veteran defenders, getting them on that defensive line. We spent so much time talking about the anticipation of what this offensive line can look like. Foley should be starting at defensive tackle, and we got to get him amped and ready to go so that he can get in his groove and be ready to hold down that run defense. And I was reminded of this, and I saw this, and it was a stat that was floating around for a while. I'm going to see, can I find it? Of course, I can't find it when I'm looking for it. Oh, here it is. Foley Fatukasi, during the 6 regular season games he missed with a shoulder, foot, and ankle injuries last year, opponents averaged nearly 20 more yards on the ground with Foley out of the game. Now, some people may say, Stan, what the hell is 20 yards in a football game? Well, you trying to keep the opponent under 100 yards? 20 yards is obviously 2 first downs. That could also be 3 or 4 minutes of clock that C.J. Stroud doesn't have the football in his hands. So that is significant. We got to get Foley ramped up to speed. I was happy to have him back again, as well as Derek Barnett. We know situationally what Barnett has been from a rush standpoint, spelling Will Anderson Jr. and Daniil Hunter. They can't play the whole game, so you got to get guys in there to give them some reps. Have a little of what I've seen from Darrell Taylor this training camp. He flashed as well on Monday. Casey Osai flashed on Saturday, as well. So this team is robust with defensive line talent, especially on the edges. I feel good about what a linebacker position is, given what we've seen from E.J. Speed, even if Christian Harris is not healthy. Christian Harris participated and walked through today as well. Arthur Marlette didn't play well. Damon Arnett didn't play particularly well, but those guys are healthy and practicing. So what else did we see in practice this week? MC, we saw Jalen Mills comes over from the New York Jets. Yes. They bring him over. Jalen Mills breaking some passes up at the safety spot, veteran defender that he is, having played for Robert Saleh at the Jets. Very similar defense to what D'Amico runs here. So some of that verbiage should shorten that learning curve. So Jalen Mills is somebody we can keep our eyes on this week also.
And I do want to add that I thought the DB, specifically Jalen Smith, that was a play on that first drive where if he doesn't come up and make that tackle, whoever was running the ball at that time may have scored a touchdown on the long run. So I was very impressed with the open field tackling, especially for a young player figuring his role out in the NFL. And he played outside corner when he was out there. So I was impressed by Jalen Smith.
I was impressed by him as well. And I think there's going to be very few weeks where we go and we look at the defensive backs where we go, oh, they sucked. They were terrible. So
Kamari Lassiter picking off the football again in practice today. Now, that's still a thing. I don't know if y'all been tracking.
Oh, don't start with that.
Number 7 is throwing a lot of interceptions.
Hey, as long as he doesn't throw them in the games, that's all that matters.
You play how you practice.
Well,
now, the other defense isn't as good. So
speaking of him, speaking of the quarterback, number 7, he got some love. Let's talk about the love that he received, and if we agree with it here in a brief moment on the Locked On Texans Squad show. This episode is brought to you by Yahoo Fantasy. It's the best time of the year, NFL kickoff. Well, it's right around the corner now, and that means fantasy football season is back in full swing. Yahoo Fantasy is turning things up with a fantasy football experience like never before. This year, if you're looking for a great place to go and do it at Yahoo Fantasy. I've been using it for years. I just set up the league for my 2 nephews that live in my home, and they're ready to go. They've got bad teams, but I tried to help them. They don't want to listen to their uncle who tells them to draft running backs first, because running backs matter more than they do wide receivers in fantasy football. So there's your reminder again today. To celebrate 28 years of fantasy football greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features for over 28 days throughout August. To kick it off, they just dropped the Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine Leagues, a new killer way to play fantasy football in Yahoo, where the lowest scoring team gets eliminated each week until there's only one team left standing. With the season right around the corner, now's the time to get your league together and give this new mode a try. If you're more into the classics, you can still play in the head-to-head private leagues or join a public league. Stay tuned for more killer announcements and start playing Yahoo Fantasy Football now at yahoo.com or yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. It's the Texans Squad show here on the Locked On Texans page. I'm Michael Connor, Stan Norfleet, and John Hickman. We appreciate you stopping by if you're watching us live. If not, watching it later on, we appreciate that as well. We appreciate you no matter what. We also appreciate that we have football to talk about, guys, because football is back in full swing, and we will get into the Carolina practice and game coming up here in just a few moments. But wanted to mention it. I don't know, real quick before we even get into the CJ Stroud thing, how much do you guys value the NFL Top 100 rankings?
There's value in it. I think in what we do in sports media and whatever profession that the folks that are commenting, I see JB Allen, the Annihilator over there. I see Frank Z. Everybody wants to be recognized amongst your peers as one of the best at what you do. I don't look at this as any different. Is it a perfect exact science? I treat it like I treat PFF. It's not everything, but it's something.
John, do you like it?
It's a good talking point for the summertime before we get to the regular season.
It was a brilliant marketing idea by the NFL.
It's great. I feel like they're stretching it out. Like we could have been done with this maybe.
Yeah, they wilding with that part. Yeah.
Let's move past it. But we are sick individuals in the head, man. You know why I say that?
Why is that?
You know how many people ordered wings and got beer for a Hall of Fame game or for the first preseason game?
Oh yeah.
We look for content like we need it, and so the NFL does the best job of all professional sports.
Oh, for sure.
Giving content. So they know we're junkies. You know, we jonesing out here like Pookie. But I like the content, but right now it should have been over. We should have been found out who's number one. Because we got the second preseason game coming up, and it's not that important no more.
This, by the way, I just looked it up. This is the 15th year in a row that they've done the top 100. I didn't realize it's been that long.
But it's the first year that they're only breaking them out like 2 at a time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So
yeah, it used to be like what?
Used to do like 5. I thought it was like 5 or 10. Maybe it went to 10 and then it came to scale down to 5, and now it's down to 2.
I think it was 10 at a time.
Well,
they used to do it in an hour and a half on NFL Network.
Yeah, now it's 3 weeks long, which is just the dumbest thing ever.
I don't care.
So far in what they've released, the Texans, I'm trying to find. They had Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon was, or Laramie Tunsil. I know he doesn't count, but he was their player last year. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just saying his name out loud. Laramie was on there.
Tunsil, Joe Mixon. You had Will Anderson Jr.
That's right, Will Anderson Jr. So there's Joe Mixon. 58 for Joe Mixon. Will Anderson Jr. came in at 46. And so our latest one. Well, I don't think this won't be our last one that we talk about.
No. You got a couple more to go.
Yeah, CJ Stroud comes in at number 39. That's down 19 spots from a year ago.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's very fair. CJ Stroud is one of the top 10 quarterbacks in this league. I saw another ESPN.com article we may get to in a little bit about that. The bottom line is, and I know I haven't seen him over here, Eric in our comments is normally all over me about the fact, and it's okay. CJ Stroud regressed. We didn't say he was a bum, but the offensive line didn't help him. The injuries at the wide receiver position, the stoicism and the lack of ability to counter and to adjust from the offensive coordinator, the former offensive coordinator. But the facts are the facts. The bottom line is CJ's interception percentage 2.5 times what it was from the first year. CJ Stroud's passer rating dropped down from 100 to 87. His QBR dropped from 57 to 49. CJ Stroud took a step back in his overall quantitative, and if you watch the games, the footwork, the mechanics, the body language, it's all there. CJ Stroud took a step back. Okay, it happens. Can he rebound in year 3? Can't wait to see what that looks like. But yeah, 39, that's reasonable. 19 spots down, that's reasonable.
I think that's fair. It's also a quarterback league, so if we're saying he's one of the top 9 to 11 quarterbacks, then him floating between 35 and 45, I think is fair.
Yeah.
I would say.
Now, go ahead, MC.
I would say it's probably about the same thing. I did see, and I don't remember who had the article, but there was an article out there about anonymous coaches, being asked about CJ Stroud in the year he had last year, and I shouldn't say I was surprised, but most of them were like, crapping on everybody saying that he had a down year last year because. They're like, did you watch the games and see how he's running? They were like, he just looked like he was scared because he was constantly getting crushed back there.
Well, you know how this works, MC.
Pressures in 2024.
Yeah, listen, he was, second most sacks, second most knocked down. We know top 5 in pressures. I get all of that. The bottom line is he's not the only great quarterback that has had to overcome some of those things. So, like we say this in the football sphere when you're inside the building, you are what you put on tape. If you're hurt and you go out there, we still grade you on what you do with your performance. So that may sound harsh, that may sound unrealistic to some people that hadn't had the fortune and been blessed enough like myself to put the helmet on. But this is the brutal nature of playing the game of football. You are what's on tape.
Do you guys have a problem with – this is a talking point, and so I'm asking you guys, Brevin Jordan goes down this week. Reports were that CJ was shooken up and
had to be consoled by Dalton Schultz, yes.
Do you guys have a problem with that, or do you because after that moment, I want to say it was Landry Locker, formerly of 610, and I saw a few reports after that moment. People thought that he looked the sharpest he's looked in training camp. So, but do you have a problem with that? Do y'all think that's an issue?
With him having the emotion about it?
Just having to be consoled and not being the consoler, I guess.
I don't know.
I knew MC was going to say that, but I know MC well enough to say
those kind of like topics, they just go right over my – like, I don't know.
So here's the warlike mentality that you must have to play on Sunday, especially when you're one of the leaders. In his case, the leader of the offense.
Getting to be that.
You have to be controlling your emotions at all times, but you're not a robot, right? So you can be jubilant in success. It's all right to drop your head and be disappointed. Somebody kicks a game-winning field goal and you're on the wrong side of it. It's okay to drop your head, use some profanity, you walk off the field. But the goal at that position is to be in control of your emotions at all times, because there are those that are looking at you. Show me a team with an uber emotional quarterback that has been successful in competing or winning championships. You typically see guys that are pretty even keel. So CJ's been playing football his whole life. Injuries are going to happen. They've carted me off a field before for doing the same thing that Brevin Jordan and Tank Dell have been carted off for. I understand. And when they carted my ass off of there, I knew that the show must go on. And I would not want the men focused and worried about what's going on with me. Go win a ball game. Go be better. Go perfect your craft is how you can honor those that have fallen in the sense of competitive football warfare.
So, John, do you have a problem with it?
I'm indifferent about it. And I think I'm indifferent about it because the era of football that I played in versus the era of football that I work in. So it was very like I don't know how I can put it without I don't want to get banned, but just different.
It's a softer culture now.
It's a right,
but what we came up in.
Very much so. But with that being said, I don't think that makes the players softer.
No, I didn't call CJ soft.
Right, and that's why I say I'm indifferent. Like the era, because you have people that may look at that and say the word soft or whatever the case is. But I also saw a quarterback that was pressured over 250 times. 50 of those pressures were unblocked pressure. He got hit time and time again and got his tail back up. Right, so I'm not calling CJ Stroud soft. That's why I'm very indifferent. I know where some of the older era guys may come from and view this, but I also look at today's game and understand that some of those guys, like you said, have been playing football since 5 years old. You see things and those things impact you. But that being said, to hear that CJ Stroud had to be consoled, got it over with, and then had possibly his sharpest day, that last part is the only thing that matters.
Well, some people bring up, even when Tank went down at that Kansas City game, look at the 2 drives after that, and they say that CJ, and I haven't done the homework, but I did see a report that CJ was supposedly locked in at Kansas City last season when Tank went down. So let me ask this, MC, before we pivot and get somewhere else. CJ came in at 39, at least 2 Texans players, most of us believe, left in the top 100, in Nico Collins and Derek Stingley Jr. Let me ask you this. Are both of those players better at their job than CJ is at his job?
Oh, I think that's a tough question.
It's not for me.
It's Derek Stingley and who else?
Derek Stingley Jr. and Nico are the last two players that we believe from the Texans.
Nico for sure. I mean, Sting for sure.
Stingley for sure. Yeah, I think you definitely make that case. He's either 1 or 2 in the league
Sting
at
for
his
sure.
position.
I think Nico. So some guys,
Nico's got to stay healthy to get there, right?
he has to stay healthy. But you look at some receivers. Okay, the conversation about who's better right now, Jettas or Jamar. A lot of people go with Jamar, but I saw something that was very interesting. When Joe Burrow went down, I think the numbers for Jamar was 38 catches for nearly 500 yards. In the same time, during the time span where Jettas had to deal with 3 different quarterbacks, more catches and more yards. And so what I'm getting at is for Nico Collins, can't say that he is too much better than CJ Stroud because his success has been solely based on CJ Stroud getting him the ball. When there was no CJ Stroud, we didn't see this version of Nico Collins. Granted, Davis Mills and CJ, 2 different players, and Nico Collins in his first 2 seasons missed a ton of games combined. So I think that's different. But I can't say that Nico is for sure better than CJ Stroud flat out right now. I think
I put both of them on the same level. I think CJ and Nico at their relative positions are about on the same level. You're talking about top 10 talents and productivity. Derek Stingley, clearly. Derek Stingley Jr., 2024, was the best player on the Houston Texans. And I would say it's going to be tough between him and Laramie Tunsil. I would probably put Sting at his position ahead of Tunsil at his position. So I would say Sting probably was the best player.
I think he was the best player last year. And I'd be
no doubt about Stingley. He was for sure number 1. You got Tunsil too?
Tunsil was a top 5 left tackle in the game.
Okay. I can't give it to a guy when you're.
I kind of want to give it to Joe Mixon over Laramie Tunsil.
We just know Joe Mixon in the top 5 back. When the ESPN did those rankings that we talked about, Joe Mixon came in at 9, I believe.
Yeah, he's
certainly a top 10 running back.
Back in top 10, no doubt.
For sure. So that was it as far as the top 100. Just bringing that up. Nico and Sting will come in there at some point, and here we go. Now, if we really want to get funky with it, who currently on the Texans roster that won't be placed in the top 100 this year will find their way on the list next year?
Well, hold on. And as I'm thinking about this, are we sure that there's only 2?
Will Anderson has been announced.
Will Anderson has been announced. Daniil Hunter hadn't been announced.
Yeah,
wasn't he like in the top from 90 to 100?
I'm not looking at the list.
No, he hasn't been in it.
Oh well, yeah, Daniil Hunter's gonna make that.
Okay, so there's maybe Nico doesn't make it, and maybe it's those 2. Is there a world where
Nico not in the top 100?
I mean, I'm looking at the receivers at the back end. Drake London was 97. Ladd McConkey was number 100.
Yeah, Nico's better than both of them.
Those guys had similar numbers to him last season, so that's my only question.
No, Nico's gonna make the list.
Jerry Jeudy was 82.
Nico's better than him.
Okay. Man, there's not a lot of wide receivers on this. Malik Neighbors was number 67.
He had a great year. Malik Neighbors had a better year than Nico, but it's his rookie first year. I trust Nico more than I trust Malik Neighbors. Neighbors a baller, though.
Brian Thomas Jr. was 61.
Had a great rookie year.
Terry McLaurin was number 52.
Now we need to start getting nervous. McLaurin he had an excellent year, scored a ton of touchdowns. Jaden Daniels, rookie year.
Tyreek Hill was 47.
Still getting it. Future Hall of Famer.
Are we looking at the NFL top 100 list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniil Hunter was 68.
Then why is he not showing up on this list I'm looking at? That's from the NFL Network. Or did I just scroll right by him?
You might have just missed him.
I missed him. I think I missed him.
All right, so yeah, Daniil should have been on that list. Okay, cool. So we're talking about Sting and Nico.
Okay.
That remain. Next year, who will be on this list that didn't make it this year?
Jaden Higgins.
You don't believe that?
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't. You're being hyperbolic.
He's gonna be like number 1. He's gonna be like number 1.
Don't believe that.
Yeah, he'll get like 1,100
next year. Who is not on this list? Who will be on the list next year?
Kalen Bullock will be on this list next year.
You got Kalen. I'm gonna go with Kamari. But you know what? I'm gonna also say this, man. We get a full season of that young fella out there at tackle, whichever side he playing. I'm gonna say Tay, man.
It's hard to get in them tackle spots, bro. It's hard. Now, Rashawn Slater went down for the Chargers, so that's one spot that has opened up.
Somebody else is.
I'm gonna give you another one. If this Caley guy is what I think he is, and this offense is what I think it could be, you could see the best version of Dalton Schultz that we've seen in a Texans uniform. Dalton Schultz could pop back up and look more like 23.
We'll love to see that. And I know they will love to see that as well.
The NFL top 100, though.
But it's got to be relative to the other tight ends. It's only, 3 tight ends that's doing 1,000 yards?
Yeah. But is that top 100 player in the league worthy?
So if the Houston Texans are in the AFC Championship game and Dalton Schultz has 7 touchdowns on the year and he's at 900 yards and he's going to the Pro Bowl,
he might get in. I mean, Tyreek Hill, we just mentioned him. He had 900 yards last year and he was in it. So
I think about
is 900 realistic for
No.
Think about how quickly they want this ball to come out. Now, I'm just saying career year. I don't know if it's 900. I'm saying maybe it's 800.
Career year in receptions.
He could. The ball's going to come out. Like this offense is going to be methodical. 1, 2, 3, ball out. I don't know that CJ is going to have the time to be doing. Let me scan the field, come back there dancing, patting the ball. I don't know that that's what this is going to be. They're going to run the heck out of the rock. They're going to shrink the game. They're going to dink and dunk, and they're going to wait for the other team to make a mistake. CJ's turnovers should come drastically down from what they were last year and look more like 2023. Now, that was historic, touchdown-interception ratio, but it should look more like that.
Let's hope that it does. And you know what? Let's hope that he plays this weekend. We're going to talk about this weekend, the rest of this week with the Panthers, here in just a brief moment on the Locked on Texans Squad show. And we're right back to it on the Squad Show. Welcome back. Michael Connor, Stan Norfleet, John Hickman, talking about your Houston Texans as they enter preseason game number 2. We'll be with you when it ends on Saturday, 12 o'clock kickoff. I was going to say first pitch because I got an Astros game on my iPad.
Get your mind out the gutter. That's where the Stros are right now.
Stros in trouble.
But are they number 1 in their division right now too?
No, Seattle caught them.
They blew they've blown a 7-game lead. They're now tied for the division lead.
All things considered, I mean, they're out with 20 players.
Yeah, it's got to be a record for dudes on IL. I mean, it's crazy. You got Josh Hader getting a second opinion. Wow. Go ahead. I'm sorry, MC.
As long as the injury bug doesn't go from them to the Texans, it's okay. Like that's all I need. Just don't get the same injury bug the Astros have gotten.
Please.
But they got the Panthers this weekend. 12 o'clock is the kickoff. We'll be with you as soon as the game ends. This is the only preseason game at NRG Stadium this year, which people are going to get to see all the new amenities at NRG with the new sound system and the same screen.
Video board and the new dining options.
The new dining options.
New menu.
By the way, I'm a fan of that because sometimes those options, I'm like, let's get a little something better, man. But I'm a fan of that. So
see, you just got to eat before the game. There's no other
way.
Very
grateful to the concessionaire over there at NRG. Appreciate Airmark for doing what they do.
Yeah.
At least I think it's Airmark.
So people will get to eat their Airmark hot dogs this weekend. The Texans will be playing out there on the field against the Panthers. Now, first of all, they're going to practice tomorrow, the joint practice tomorrow, so get to get it popping a little bit against them. What do you guys want to see this weekend? First of all, I guess we should start actually.
With the
Starters playing?
Oh, I think they are.
Okay.
I think they are. I think we're going to see about 2 drives. I think that we're going to see those guys out there. Listen, as much as they've been progressing, they've been telling us they're progressing, through our practice and training camp. You got to go see that progression with the first team against another team. We'll get a good indication of where this team is tomorrow at training camp, and I don't think it'll be just like a big indication, but we'll see something to build off of. But I absolutely feel like we have to see the starters.
I think we'll see the starters in terms of CJ Stroud. I think that's what most people think. You'll see CJ for a series, and they'll take him off. I don't think CJ. I don't think they are comfortable.
Just one series would piss me off, man. I need more than that.
I don't think. Look at what D'Amico has done this whole thing. They didn't maximize all of their OTA. They didn't maximize all of the minicamp. He didn't practice all the days that they could. Like they have scaled.
How many drives should we see, in your opinion?
How many drives should we see?
Yes.
The starters, given that they didn't play this past game, the starters should go out there for at least a quarter.
Okay.
They should play at least a quarter in my mind. I can only go off what the head coach, who has been highly successful since he's been here. I can only go off what he has shown us this training camp. He is erring on the side of caution when it comes to putting guys out there. I think it's going to be max 2 series and they're done. I'll be surprised. Now, he may tier it. You may see Davis Mills and go out there. Like Davis Mills may go out there with the starting offensive line, but then Nico and CJ come off. So they may split it. Nico, Dalton Schultz, CJ, y'all come off. The other players, y'all run on. So it's kind of a split squad type of deal if you catch my drift. Now I'm gonna be honest.
I like that because they gotta give some of these running backs opportunities with guys that can block when it matters. So like Nick Chubb, I think he's gonna need a few carries with some of those projected starters. Dameon Pierce is gonna need that as well, because that's the only way I believe you're gonna get a fair assessment on what these players will do. You ain't gonna get that assessment when you got Zach Thomas out there and Jalen Thomas out there and
agreed.
You ain't gonna get that. So you gotta be able to put those guys in the best position to give you the assessment that you need. And so I'd love to see that.
It's always a cost-benefit analysis. So everything that you just said is spot on. But D'Amico, if the choice is, I'm going to make sure Titus Howard is healthy. He's already been dealing, with a dinged up hand. If I have to pull Titus and Jawar Jordan just has to run out there behind Blake Fisher, then that's what I'm going to do. So if it's, let me see what the running backs are versus keep the starting offensive line healthy, he's going to teeter. I believe he will teeter on the side of keeping the starting offensive line healthy. By the way, I do not expect Cam Robinson to play.
What if they rotate some of those backs, in the first couple of drives while they're out there?
So when they go out there on Saturday, and the joint practice, I think, will be more telling than Saturday. But the first back that I think will go out there on Saturday, I think is going to be Dameon Pierce. I don't think it's going to be Dare like it was this past year. So I think it'll be Dameon Pierce. Then it'll go to Dare a little bit. Then it'll go to Woody. And I'm sorry, I skipped over Chubb. Chubb is coming off concussion protocol. I don't know that Chubb is going to go out there. The red jersey was off.
Does it feel like Chubb is going to make this team?
It's
Why
tight.
would he make the team?
It's tight.
It's tight.
He's got like what, $5 million?
No, it's like $2 million.
Was it like 2 guaranteed?
I think
like $2 million that can go up to 5.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think there's any chance he's not making the team unless I haven't been out of practice. You guys been out of practice. So I don't know, but like I would bring him in. Like
Chubb is, and people get on me sometimes because when I start talking facts, they want to say that I'm talking negative. But the fact is, like, none of us. I take that back. When they at the Greenbrier, he had a practice. I think he ripped off what would have been like a 30-yard run. And that was the first glimpse that we've seen of vintage Nick Chubb. Bottom line is with Jawar Jordan and Woody and DP and Chubb, what are they going to do with British Brooks? And we know Jakob Johnson has been the fullback. Like, they essentially have 5 running backs if you include Joe Mixon. Are they going to carry 5? I think in my 53, I had them carrying 5 because I don't know that Joe's going to be ready to go week 1. And so you have to designate him as pup, designated to return. Now, let me also set the table by this. And I know, John, you have been bullish on the joint practice from the word go. I'm not.
Why?
You want to preserve your guys?
No, I like the concept. I'm comfortable with the concept, and I do see some value in it. But this joint practice versus a bad football team, what does that really do for me? Think about this. The Carolina Panthers' best defenders are not half of the look that the Texans get every day that they go practice versus their own people.
I mean,
well, you're not going to always play. You're not going to always play.
Then they're practicing with the Lions. What, next week?
Yeah, then they practice against the Lions next week.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, what actual work is going to get accomplished here? Now, I do appreciate.
Right?
Say that again.
different look. It's something you haven't seen before.
I think so. And you're not going to always go up against
bad players.
You're not going to always go up against that
relative to the NFL.
Diverse linebacker group. You're not going to always go up against the Sting and Kamari. So, like, Houston is a team that has dropped games against teams that they should have won.
Inferior, including the Carolina Panthers coming off a bye in 2023.
So, like, this is a good opportunity for Houston to just, for one, play somebody else different, practice against somebody else different.
Different jersey, I get it. But I'm saying
that's the real benefit and value of it.
See, to me, it's got to be more than that. And I'm not saying I wouldn't have agreed to the joint practices. I'm saying I hear people in sports media talk about all of this great work they about to get tomorrow. I look at the roster and I start going on the matchups. Where Brian Burns doesn't play for the Carolina Panthers anymore. Who is Ariante Ursery truly going to get threatened by
you got
over there?
Out there, you know.
Now, Carolina has a couple players. I like Trevon Mooring. I like J.C. Horn. They got a few guys. I like Derek Brown. They got a few guys out there I like. But it's a step down from going against their own players. Now, I do think there's some other work, and I'll make another point. But, like, for example, the starting defense. That defense has not been challenged in the run game at all account. The Texans defense has been dominant. I'm talking about that front seven. Now, yes, every once in a while, the offense will get their pound of flesh. But by and large, that defense, that front seven, before you can get to the secondary, has been kicking their ass. Now, Chuba Hubbard is coming up in here to tote the ball. Now, I want to see this defense versus somebody that can run the football. Chuba Hubbard last year, 7th in yards per game, 8th in overall yards. He had nearly 1,200 yards in 15 ball games, 4.8 yards per carry. I will be looking to see, can they stuff Chuba Hubbard? That's just one of the things I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. And I think it's also important, like, we still have to put value on, we talk about getting these players reps, but we got to get Nick Haley his reps too.
Yeah.
Fair point.
So we got to put value on, the new first-time play caller getting reps as much as possible. Because make no doubt about it, they are still operating in what is largely considered a championship window. And there's still a lot of newness. Now, that newness may be down from a week prior, but he needs his reps just as much as those players.
No disagreement from me. There are a lot of conversation happening in the Texan space on social media and the radio shows locally, the TV programs, etc. Kaylee in the box or on the field, I really don't care. I'm going to guess that he ends up on the field.
Yeah.
But we'll see. He was on the field Saturday. No, he was in the box Saturday. He said he'll be on the field this coming Saturday versus the Panthers. I'll give you another one. Like the Panthers going out there going up against Bryce Young. They won't see anybody else like Bryce Young the rest of the year. Some people will say, well, what about week 15 when the Arizona Cardinals come here? Kyler Murray is such a superior athlete and a better player than Bryce Young. They're on two different levels, two different tiers. So I'm like, okay, what is the real? Now I get it. The quarterback ain't going to be live and from a joint practice standpoint, would be in the game. But what are they really getting out of this Bryce Young thing? It's just one of the things that I look at and doesn't excite me. What does excite me, these young boys at wide receiver, this Ted McMillan taking 8th overall this year, and this Xavier Leggett that they took in the first round last year.
I'm not excited about him, though. I'm more excited about Jalen Cooker.
Cooker's he's been doing a good job.
Xavier Leggett, I am not. Nobody should be scared of that young man at this point in his career. He has trouble holding on to the ball and getting.
I would love to see. Of course, we all believe All Pro Sting and the locksmith over there talking about Kamari Lassiter. I don't suspect they're going to see anything that they haven't seen, but I just want to, like, for me, I want to see Kamari. You were a second-round pick last year. Ted McMillan is a first-round wide receiver this year. Let me see you go against it. Like, you know what I mean? It's those type of battles. Because what happens in these practices, guys, when you go up against your own dudes for so long, you start to you can form bad habits because you know what that dude's skill set is. So I want to see someone else's different skill set. Now, the Texans defense, they go up against big-bodied wide receiver, Xavier Hutchinson, Nico Collins, and, of course, Jaden Higgins. So the big body component won't be anything new. But let's see. Let's see what Canales, the offensive coordinator of the Panthers, can scheme up. So those are the type of things that I'm looking for. But to think that we're going to come out of this joint practice and there's just the Carolina Panthers, the talent on that side of the ball and the schemes that they threw at us we haven't seen. They do run an odd front on defense, and the Texans haven't seen an odd front, so I can't appreciate that. They just aren't going to see the level of competition that they would be by facing themselves. So that's really why I'm just like, you got to do it. But I'm like, all right, I'm not yee-haw about it.
And guess what? Content.
There you go. It's one day and then one game. That's all they got to do. So, as always, we will be live as soon as the game ends. You guys want to give your parting shots to the people as we say goodnight?
Go ahead, John.
I'm taking 2 because I missed y'all Saturday.
Double.
So for me, it's really all about, again, we talk about seeing the starters, but I was impressed with the flow and tempo of that first drive. We saw the Houston Texans operate in a place of being able to dictate the defense, bring the pressure to the defense more so. So I just want to see Houston build off of that. And what allowed them to do that, again, as we mentioned, the ability to run the ball effectively. It was a lot of 2nd and 2s, and 3rd and 3s, short downs to the point of success to allow them to have an open playbook, which is something that hurt Houston last year because they didn't have a lot of those moments. So I want to see them build off of having the ability to run the ball and bring the pressure to the defense and not get pressure taken to them. Brought to them, excuse me.
I like it. For me, Justin James Watt is in the news locally on CBS, the big CBS. I quote, and this is an article in the Houston Chronicle. Title of the article is J.J. Watt says Houston Texans have, quote, legitimate Super Bowl possibility, but there's a big X factor. And just one of the quotes from J.J. in this article, my forecast for the Texans is extremely high. He said that to the Chronicle during NFL media availability on Tuesday. I think they'll have the number 1 defense in the NFL. That's my personal thought on the way that defense plays and the guys they have on defense. I believe that Stroud is going to have a great year. He has some weapons around him. He goes on to say the X factor is the offensive line, so on and so forth. So, J.J. Watt, thank you. You say Super Bowl around here and people get quiet. It's a Super Bowl window based on what has happened the previous 2 years. The dude that's under center and the guy that has the big headset wearing the red dry fit on Sunday. DeMeco Ryan, C.J. Stroud, and the rest of those requisite pieces, it's okay to say Super Bowl. People get all frantic. Don't be nervous. Be all right.
Scared money don't make money. That's my thing. And you know what? Texans, undefeated Super Bowl champions. Look out, Dolphins. Here they come. It's happening. No, I'm kidding. I just always have to get – I can't resist it. I always have to go out that way. This weekend, when the game wraps up on Saturday, these 3 faces, these beautiful faces that you see on your screen, if you're watching us, if you're listening to this on podcast, sorry, you don't get to look at how good we look. You will see us again Saturday afternoon after the Texans and Panthers, and we will also be joined by Wade Smith. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday night. We'll talk again Saturday after Texans Panthers on the Locked on Texans Squad Show.